We're here at day 2 of the Super Bowl experience from Miami Convention Center in Miami, Florida. Behind me going on right now is the Character Camp, brought to you by Anthony Muñoz, 13-year veteran, Cincinnati Bengal, NFL Hall of Famer. He's out here providing character and building character for these youth who need that mentorship in their life that maybe they're not getting at home. I hope to be able to sit down with Mr. Munoz later on and hear his story and hear how God has changed his life and has inspired him to do such an amazing camp. I'm here with Anthony Muñoz, 13-year NFL veteran, Hall of Famer, the only Hall of Famer from the Cincinnati Bengals.
Sadly enough, yeah.
Absolute legend and a huge activist in the Character Camp initiative for the NFL. What is this Character Camp about for you?
Well, you know, it's very important for me to use a game that I played for so many years and to still teach them a little football here at the camp, but talk about character and what it means to be a person of character. And to me, that, and I'll share with the kids, I mean, that will take you so much further than how fast you can run, how strong you are, how fast you can, or how well you can throw the football. So hopefully when they leave this, they won't say, well, I was at a football camp. They'll say, well, I was at a camp where we learned a little football, but we learned what it means to be a person of character, what it means to work together. And those are the messages that I love sharing.
Now, the Bible calls us to be servants in our life. What does that word servant mean going through this character?
Well, to me, you know, being a believer for over 40 years, a servant leader or servant is putting others before you. And that's why, you know, people say, why do you make all these trips? I mean, you could be doing whatever you want, other parts of the country. I said, well, this to me is a calling from the Lord. I mean, I believe, you know, I do these in Cincinnati with my foundation. And I believe that, you know, to be able to just show up, even with all the accolades and say, I'm no big deal, I'm here to serve you, to do whatever I think that's the main thing. Being a servant is putting others before yourself.
My favorite Bible verse growing up was Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, which can be translated across different translations from person to person. What does that verse mean to you?
Well, you know, and I've experienced that where people say you can't do this, but knowing that I have Christ in my heart, everything's possible. I mean, you know, we got to do our part, you know. You know, the example I use, if I was a baseball player and I'm in a batting slump, I can't just sit there on the bench and say, well, God's going to take control because he says I can do all things. I'm going to get up and go 3 for 4. No, I can do all things, but I got to go out and practice. I got to take some extra cuts. So to me, that's what it means. I can do all things that through Christ who strengthens me, that there's no limitations on what we can do. To me, if we say that, that's putting God in a box, and God is so much bigger than that. I mean, I've learned over my lifetime that, you know, I get amazed when God does things. And why do I get amazed? Because that's who he is. He thrives in adverse, you know, situations to bring people through that. He thrives in, you know, times when we think are tough. That's what he thrives in you know, allowing us to, you know, do things because of Jesus in our hearts.
What would you tell an athlete who's thinking about a relationship with Christ?
Well, I would think that when you enter that relationship, you find what true peace and joy. For me, I learned what true preparation, true intensity was. I just learned things that I thought I knew what it meant to train with intent. I thought I knew what it meant to prepare. But when I entered that relationship with Christ, he really showed me what it's all about. In your verse, you know, what you just shared, mine was, you know, Colossians 3:13. Whatever you do, do it with all your heart as working the Lord, not man. So everything. I mean, he just doesn't do some things wholeheartedly or some things with all your heart. He says everything you do it with all your heart. To me, it's like, hey, football is meant to, you know, you prepare, you get as strong as you can, best shape, and then you get out and you're as physical as you can be. And that's the way I played because God gave me the ability to do that.
Mr. Munoz, thank you so much for joining us. TCT viewers, check out Anthony Muñoz's story. Check out the NFL Character Camp. Mr. Munoz is out here changing lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for being out here.
Yes, sir.